Hi, this is Don Wells, your host of Conversations That Matter, and today we're speaking with Danna Beal on finding immediate relief in a toxic workplace. Danna Beal, who holds a master's in education, is a workplace culture expert, international speaker, author, and coach residing in Bellevue, Washington. She's the author of The Extraordinary Workplace, Replacing Fear with Trust and Compassion, and she's been on over 80,000 radio and TV talk shows throughout the country, sharing the compelling message for healing the workplace culture. Dana has been the keynote speaker and workshop leader for over 300 businesses and thousands of people. And by the way, Dana does coaching over the phone and is offering a 25% discount for listeners that mention Conversations That Matter. So give Dana a call at 425-785-2862, and I'll be mentioning this information again at the end of our interview. So here she is. How's it going, Dana?
Hi, Don. It's great. It's a beautiful sunny day here up in the northwestern United States, and I'm happy to be on your show again.
Fantastic. So what you been up to? What's good?
Well, I've been doing a lot of speaking, face-to-face speaking, and so today I'm excited to share some of the messages I've been talking about in my live audiences, and especially about the pain that people are experiencing in the workplace and how we can find some immediate relief from that, because we don't work well when we're in pain and suffering.
Well, leads me to my first question. What actually is a toxic workplace?
Well, that's a great place to start, because when you think about it, the word toxic means poison. And
Right.
If an environment or culture feels like it's toxic, it could be that there are a lot of poisonous ideas circulating. And how that happens is it keeps escalating. As one person feels fear and anxiety, it starts spreading throughout the culture. And the culture really is made up of the way we do things, how people feel, how they interact with each other. But if you're in an environment where there is fear, which is the source of a toxic workplace, people are no longer being authentic, they're not open, they start feeling paranoia, deceptive, people gossip. And so all these things happen. I'm sure you've experienced it, Don. I think most everybody, yes.
And the fear is, it creates a lot of confusion in the workplace. How does an individual in that type of environment find some clarity?
Well, you're absolutely right. It is so confusing when you're the one in a workplace environment and you're feeling all the anxiety, because for one thing, it's like the elephant in the living room. It's hard to talk about it because you're afraid of recrimination or possibly losing your job, but you're aware of it. Yes. And so when you are in a workplace like that, one of the things that happens is you are so involved, it's almost like you're on a stage with the other people in what I call a drama. It's a real life drama, but it is a drama, and everybody's playing their parts. For example, if you go to a movie, you can get so involved that while you're watching it, it feels like it's real. Well, that's because we are, so engaged. I'm sure you've had that happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and most of us have. We cry, we cheer on the victor, we feel like it's real. Well, what if our relationships in the workplace are really being sustained by all the interactions, the reactions, the counter reactions, everybody in essence playing their parts on the workplace stage because they're in fear.
Exactly, and it creates a dysfunctional work environment. What's the cause of all this dysfunction in the work environment and the toxicness of it?
Well, leaders may be surprised to know this, but the leadership is the source of all the pain and suffering. The leaders who want to motivate their employees unwittingly, by using pain management and fear management, actually deplete the energy of the very people they're trying to motivate. And that fear then goes down and radiates throughout the organization. And people that, for example, if you have, I call it the boss from hell, because the Gallup report cites that 68 to 70% of people are unhappy in the workplace, and the reason is because of their boss. So if the boss from hell is in fear from their boss, then what do they do to relieve their fear? They pass it down and put pressure on the people that they are supposed to be supervising, helping, guiding, assisting them to be successful. But when you're in fear, you forget to help the other people be successful. And so it just pretty soon it becomes the culture. So people are swimming in this internal competition and conflict, and to varying degrees. It may be less subtle or more subtle depending on the level of fear, but I've seen it in such extreme examples that people feel mildly nauseous to actually sick to their stomach thinking about going to work, or driving in the parking lot and just feeling a pit in their stomach. So I'm guessing, Dawn, that people that are tuning in today probably have some degree of that, or they wouldn't have tuned in to hear this show about that.
Right. And I'm sure there's a lot of fear out there in the workplace. And you have a project called Project Illumination. How does that help people handle all of this fear?
Yes, Project Illumination is the title I've given to the work that I teach and help and assist. I speak about this. I do one-on-one coaching with people to illuminate, or in essence, turn the lights on about what's going on in the workplace, because you feel like you're in the dark. You feel like it's so complicated. Who can you trust, etc. So my process of Project Illumination is to empower you as an individual, you audience, your power, so that you don't feel so disempowered, because that is really the basis of your own fear. It's coming from you because the fear is already in you that somehow you won't be loved, valued, or respected. And you're not alone. That's a human need. We all want to feel valued, loved, and respected.
And if you're not the leader or the manager, what is your role in trying to bring something like this about?
Well, a lot of people say that to me. Oh, I wish you could talk to my boss. Well, so do I. And I do speak to a lot of leaders, but I want each person that's listening today to know that they each have power. Each of you has power within yourself, an authentic power, a deeper self that can handle anything, that can deal with all of this, and has options and choices. And I have some steps that are part of my Project Illumination for individuals to immediately get a sense of relief from the pain and the dysfunction that may be occurring in your workplace.
And I'm sure one of the thoughts that comes to a lot of people is, how can they talk about this or introduce something like this without losing their job?
Exactly. It's a two-edged sword in the workplace, because you go there for your financial security, but on the other hand, it's also a place where you can feel insecure or disempowered if you're working in an environment that is not a transparent, open, compassionate workplace where people are valued. And fortunately, there are big movements of people that are recognizing this and knowing that the workplace should be an environment where people can perform at their highest levels. And the only way we can do that is when we feel that we can make mistakes. We feel that people will honor us and support us and have our back, so to speak, in these toxic environments. So it takes all of us to make a change. Leaders can have the biggest impact within their organization, but every individual, you, audience member, you can have a difference in your own life right now.
And one last thing here, tell us more about universal love. I know you've spoken in the past about universal love.
Yes, universal love actually is the power that sustains all life. We are made of love. Love is the reason we exist. It sometimes gets given the treatment that it's a weakness or that sounds too woo-woo. But the fact of the matter is, we need more love in the world. That is what's missing. And I believe that universal love is truly the most important power there is, and we are all connected to that if we choose. I liken it to being connected to the internet, going online and being connected to so
Right.
much information and so much energy compared to being offline when we're just operating from our own small local self, our little ego self. We feel very alone when and separate when we are not connected to. You can call it the universe, you can call it all that is, you can call it. I actually believe it's like the wellspring of all creativity. It's actually the source of genius. And I have steps to help us be aware of our connection to universal love.
Wow. Okay, well, hey, I really appreciate, all this great information. And of course, like I said before, Dana does do coaching over the phone and is offering a 25% discount for listeners that mention this show, Conversations That Matter. So give Dana a call at 425-785-2862. Once again, that's 425-785-2862.
And Don,
Yeah,
I appreciate you offering that. And I do want to take a few minutes before we hang up to give
sure.
people the actual
Okay,
steps for a project illumination to feel the relief from pain right
absolutely.
now.
Okay,
So these are the steps we take when you're feeling this anxiety or disempowerment or deep pain from the workplace. The first thing you do is breathe because we have a tendency to get constricted and closed down when we're afraid. So if you
yeah,
take a deep breath, that helps you get into the present. And it's only in the present in the present moment that we can actually get back online with who we really are. And then
wow,
and then the second step is to align with your deep, authentic self, which is to recognize it is universal love that will bring us the inspiration, the answers, the suggestions, the help that we need in our workplace. And
okay,
the third step is awareness. Once you feel more connected, then you can create an awareness of understanding what's going on in the workplace. And you begin to see, you may even start to laugh, that you see little children dressed as powerful adults running around in the workplace, sometimes throwing
yeah,
temper tantrums, sometimes gossiping, and you may even see those behaviors in yourself. But you'll start to see that it is a drama with individual scripts, everybody's playing their parts. But ask yourself, what would happen if I and others stopped playing their parts? And that takes us to the fourth step, which is to look within and see what are your fears? What are you resisting in this workplace? Because if you get hooked into fear, you lose your power. And so
sure,
yes, and we all have these conditioned fears that started clear back when we were children. And when we connect to those and see that they are already in us and that somebody else is just hooking us, then we can also disconnect from that and disengage from being a puppet in someone else's drama. So, who
right,
wants to be a puppet in a drama?
not me.
Yeah, exactly. So, if everyone suddenly had the lights go on and stop playing their parts, the drama would end. So when you feel that fear, get a picture of what's going on, and then you have the next step, which is to speak truthfully. You have the right to speak openly, honestly, and truthfully without blame. The minute you blame somebody, you back them into a corner, and then you continue to escalate the drama. But if you
Certainly.
react to the way they expect, you actually validate the drama. So here's how you can step out of the anxiety and the intertwined egos and have some freedom is speak your truth and without blame. And
Right.
I give a lot more tips on how you can speak your truth and get the information and answers and feedback you need without losing your job. So if you do
Fantastic.
those steps, then just overall, Project Illumination is about turning the lights on and also trusting in the unknown because the workplace is full of change. There's lots of uncertainty. In fact, my audiences tell me that's the number one thing they're afraid of is the unknown or change and uncertainty. But
Yeah.
that is a process that's going on all the time. And trusting in the unknown means that you are tapping into something new because if it's already known, it's already
Right.
happened. Yes. And you'll just recreate what's happened in the past and superimpose it on the future. And at that point, you then are just reliving old scripts. So trusting in the known unknown can bring you exciting new opportunities, because each and every one of you have so many more wonderful things that are going to be coming into your lives, and you will see lots of new things. But you need to let go and give up some of the resistance, relax, and trust in who you are. So I'd love to talk with any one of you out there. And like Dawn said, I'm offering a discount if you mention Conversations That Matter. And Dawn, if you want to give them the information one
Yep.
last time, that'd
Yeah,
be great.
once again, it's a 25% discount for listeners that mention Conversations That Matter. So, yeah, give Dana a call at 425-785-2862. Once again, that's 425-785-2862.
Yes. And if you'd rather go to my website, it's just dannabeal.com. So
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Dana, for all the great information, and look forward to next time that we speak.
well, thank you very much for having me, and I hope that it gave some people some relief and some tools for dealing with the toxic workplace.
Okay.
Okay.
Till next
Bye-bye.
time. Bye-bye.